What's up, guys? Chris with Myco Masters coming back at you. It's substrate time. We're going to be using bucket tech today, about the most simple, common method on how to make substrate for mushroom cultivating. Very easy. All you're going to need really is a 5-gallon bucket, preferably from Lowe's, Tractor Supply, or Walmart. Some of the other buckets out there, such as the Home Depot ones, are prone to melting when you get to the water steps, so would advise those personally. The Lowe's one has served me well for many years, and it's still alive and kicking, so that's going to get my recommendation. So here we go. All right, so first step of this is going to be to dump your core bricks out and get those into the bucket. This part is kind of variable, depends on the size tubs you're using, how much substrate you want to make, that whole thing. There's tons of recipes out there. I don't follow any of them. This is just kind of my own thing. So these are going to be going into 80 quart tubs, which is why I'm using 3 bricks. Most of the time you'll only be needing to use 1 here if you're growing in like 20 quarts or something similar. So go ahead and break all these bricks up, get these ground up a little bit, and get ready for the next step here. So it's pretty simple, straightforward. Once you get all this done, I'm going to go ahead and add 2 cups of vermiculite at this point, which is also variable. A lot of people use a lot more vermiculite than I do. I have found that 2 cups is more than enough for my methods of growing. Right on to the basically last step. We're going to boil some water. So we got 2 pots full of water on the stove. Got that sucker cranked up to maximum, and we're going to hang tight until these boil. So with this, a lot of the recipes on the internet and what people tell you will specify a specific amount of water to add to your whatever recipe you're following. I have found over the years this to be extremely inaccurate. It never is right because the core bricks are never uniform in size. The vermiculite's not uniform in size. They're going to absorb different amounts of water every time. So best method that I have found to use, and I love it, and I know multiple people use it as well, is just overdo the water. I don't measure anything. I just put way more in there than I know I'm going to need. And when this is done, what we're going to do is we're going to wring out the substrate back down to field capacity instead of worrying about the field capacity at this step. This will give a uniform substrate with uniform moisture as long as your hand pressure is pretty consistent when you're wringing it out, and way easier to do it this way. Don't have to mess around with worrying about running out of water or not having enough in there. So at this point, simple as we're going to grab those off the stove, pour all that boiling water on into this bucket. I'm going to be 2 of these in this bucket. I came kind of close to the top here, so I kind of backed off with a little bit of the second pot here. But fill up your bucket, and we're going to throw that lid on it, and you're off to the races. We're going to wait probably, for me, it's probably going to be about 24 hours. Usually this stuff's good to go within 12, somewhere in there. So if you're in a rush, 6 to 12 hours, you could probably get away with it. I usually just wait for the 24-hour mark. So really at this point, there's nothing left to do except sit and wait. Some people at this point like to wrap their bucket with like a towel or something. I've also largely found that to be a waste of time. Doesn't really do anything. The goal here is to just let it cool off naturally. Like I've mentioned, 6 to 12 hours usually you could get away with. 24 is better if you can wait that long. Not usually a big deal there. So we'll be back with the next installment of this when we're going to start transplanting that stuff and mixing it with spawn and building our monotubs. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. You guys have a great afternoon.